just lost a connection, and I'm trying to figure if we can get it recording. Hi, John. How are you this evening?
Hi, Cheryl. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Not too bad. I'm looking forward to having a family gathering this coming weekend and maybe some turkey.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. We're trying to coordinate everyone's schedules. We'll see. We might all end up eating turkey, but on separately.
Maybe.
Small containers as leftovers.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of the public that are here with us, we did pass our procedure bylaw last meeting, so that's in full effect now. And if any members of the public would like their name added to the
This conference will now be recorded.
If anyone would, and also how we run our meetings here virtually like this is the active cameras are council and CAO usually, and when we have guests, they will turn their cameras on. What happens. So, and we did for notification to all the public too, the chat is disabled because during meetings, unless it's public consultation, this is actually a council meeting and we don't take consultation at that time. So we'll get underway. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please call this meeting to order. Moved by?
I'll move it.
Okay, Councillor Peter Kistemaker, second by Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that we do call this regular meeting of council to order on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022 at 6:06 p.m. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that's none opposed. And our second order of business is the Indigenous land acknowledgement. And I would ask if Councillor Paroff, if you'd be able to do that for us this evening, as Councillor Stefanik is not here yet. You're still on mute.
The Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging that the land on which we gather here today is the Treaty 9, 1905 to 1906 territory, the traditional lands of the Indigenous peoples. As we work towards reconciliation, may we all live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship with all its diverse peoples.
Thank you, Councillor Paroff. Continue on, review and note of any changes to the agenda. There is one change. Hi, sorry about that, Council. There was an addition, sorry, that I neglected to talk about, and we It was added today. It's 10.5 to your agenda package, and it's about the strong mayors. There's public consultation open until October 13th, and Gail saw it fit, and I'm glad that she did, to put that on the agenda so that people have an opportunity and council has an opportunity to look at that and put any comments that they want through the public consultation. And that's through AMO, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. So if council, everyone's still good with those two amendments for our motion, those in favor? Carried. Okay, so moving on to item number 5, disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof, and declaration of conflict of interest. Council, you can do that at any time throughout the meeting. I don't have any paperwork, so we'll continue on. Oh, we might be getting on here. I see Gail now. The next is adoption of the minutes. If I can get a mover and a seconder for our regular meeting of council held on Tuesday the 20th, or Tuesday, September 20th, please. Moved by Councillor John Paroff, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved, the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne hereby adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, September 20th, 2022 as distributed. Any comments or notes on the minutes? I'm not seeing any. I put that to a vote. Those in favor? And they also did reach out to me to be a facilitator for the economic roundtable. So I accepted to do that as well. And we will be, which is really helpful because it covers most of my expenses to go. So that's helpful, and I'm looking forward to that conference, and council will get a full update in our December meeting. Continuing on for tonight, so we do have a deputation and a presentation tonight talking.
This conference will now be recorded.
Sessions, and we're at right at the beginning. Okay, so I'm gonna just hand it over, and if you need, do you
sharing my screen? So I'm not sure if yeah, it's. I think I need someone to grant me access.
Okay, someone will do that for you, Holly. And we're really excited about this, so we're looking forward to hearing what we can do with the money we have in these times of rising prices. My gosh. Yes,
I know. And I guess while I wait for the screen sharing access, I'll just give Julie and I a quick introduction. So I'm an intern architect. I work with JL Richards. I've been working with JL Richards for about 2 years now, and Julie has just started as well. Julie, I don't know something quick about yourself.
Yes, so my name is Julie and I work with JLR as well. I've been working in this industry for...
Conference will now be recorded.
Is it Stacy or yourself that would give me access to present?
This conference will now be recorded.
Technology is wonderful until it doesn't work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we all have to be IT experts, and my IT expert is I just want to close everything down and just get away from it all. Somebody deal with it, fix it till I make it work. I don't want to know how it works. I just want to use it.
Yeah, every time I think I'm getting better with it, they come up with something new, and then I have to relearn.
Yeah. Yes.
I know I'd also sent Gail and Eileen the presentation. So if one of them wants to share their screen.
Yeah, we do have it in our package. Gail, are you able to share the screen? I see you now.
I think so. Gee, sorry about that, everybody. I don't know what's going on here.
There.
Nope. All right.
Is it for Julie or for Holly?
For Holly.
For me.
Okay.
Looks like I've got. Let me know when everyone can see.
Yep, Yeah, I can see your screen. You're in your working document right now. It's not at like a slideshow or anything.
That's okay. I can just go through. Is it okay if I go through it like this?
Yeah, that's up to you. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we took a deep dive into the wish list of everything that the community had asked for. And in our spreadsheet, we kind of broke it down into the building addition to add on to the square footage of the building. And as you can see, this column is the square footage, and then this is the cost associated with that square footage on the right. We also added in the entrance canopy, which was requested, which would be at the front entrance. We have the rates and everything for all of those components. And then we went into the renovation, which would be the renovation of the mezzanine viewing area, the addition of a universal washroom / change room in the arena, the washroom renovation, which would just be cosmetics, the foyer roof replacement, access control or fobs for the entire facility, seating replacement in the arena, and then access for the curling rink. So you can see our rates change for the renovations because it's not as costly as the addition. But these are all of the different wish list items that were identified to us. And so we did a little background research, and from our experience and the going cost of everything right now with COVID, this is kind of what we're seeing as the base rate. Then there are the miscellaneous system upgrades. So you can see that the ice plant replacement, which would be for, right now we're looking at options between the curling rink and the arena. What's the best course of action for replacing the ice plant? Right now I put in a placeholder of $200,000. This is the item that will fluctuate the most depending on what course of action is chosen. So this item right here can fluctuate, most likely up, or this is kind of the base cost of what we think it would be. The addition of a backup generator, and then energy audit upgrades. So this is the whole shebang, the wish list. We also have to think of miscellaneous items such as geotech and survey. And when you add all of this up, it is very substantial, because we also have to think of our contractor general services, our travel and freight, and then project contingency. As we are in the time of COVID, we have upped this contingency because we are seeing inflated rates. And so this is the whole wish list, everything that has been brought up. And obviously in a perfect world, we would love to give you all of this, but it's kind of up to you guys to let us know what to take off and what to proceed with. We did do a breakdown just showing the addition, because to our understanding, most of the funding that the community has is for the addition. The various renovations are just an add-on. So if we were to just proceed with the addition as our understanding of it is right now, the square footage is a lot higher than in the funding, as there's all the added ancillary spaces that are required. So washrooms, change rooms, mechanical and electrical spaces, kitchen, storage, janitor room, and IT. So we end up, again, higher than we would like to be when it comes down to cost in this option. And when we break it down, if you guys want to go through it, we have the programming requirements. So we went through with Gail and a couple other community members exactly what would be included in these spaces and how the size that they would be required to be. There is a little leeway, and if we looked to reduce size, we've identified a couple of options potentially. So right now, your fitness facility is half the size of the proposed one. So there are a couple areas where we could squeeze out a bit of square footage and reduce cost, but these are the hard cost, so the dark blue items. we can't get away with doing an addition without a universal washroom, without all the required change rooms and washrooms by code, mechanical and electrical space, a kitchen, storage, janitor room, and IT room. These ones are a little less flexible. If you did reduce the building size, we
This conference will now be recorded.
a base cost of $650 per square foot. What we end up with is closer to around somewhere, sorry, my dog is barking in the background. We end up closer to somewhere around $1,000 a square foot, just based off of all of the contingencies and travel and expenses. And then the next step we looked at was, okay, so we're obviously over where we would like to be. How could we get it within the budget that we have? So to our understanding, the budget is somewhere around here. To get to that number, we would need to reduce to 4,500 square feet. So we'd need to substantially remove some of the scope of work. And we kind of just need to know where to start and what can be removed, and what can be reduced. Do we really need this? Do we really need that? Julie, I don't know if you want to chime in.
Yeah, so we're trying to get you the best scenario possible for your community. I know Holly and I checked a couple of things, and the fitness center and the community hall, when we were doing the spacing, we can maybe vamp them and put it as a flex space, and you could have both into the same space, so that would save a little bit of square footage for your addition. Again, it all depends on how you guys want to proceed with what your needs are in your community. So we can do maybe just the fitness center, and the community hall can be done later on. We can leave space for that expansion later on. There is multiple ways that we can look at this project. Basically, is just we need a little bit of guidance of how to, or what are your what is your community's best requirement at this point?
Okay, thank you for the presentation. It's really eye-opening because I'm not sure if I had missed it in some of the documents, and I'm not sure the rest of council, but I wasn't even aware that we were doing a gymnasium and a community hall. And so did that come about when the application was put in and then added? Because even the schematics that I looked at, I've never seen that for the picture drawings that, now mind you, they weren't finished.
Maybe
Yes.
Gail can speak a little to
Go ahead.
No, it's just an open space.
I know that was.
Oh, okay, we'll let Gail, go ahead, Gail.
Sorry, it's just an open space that was always in there for use as like for more like maybe floor activities or yoga, Zumba, that type of thing, or could be used for like baby showers or dinners or things like that. So it we did kind of when we were meeting with Julie and Holly, we were and Luke trying to figure out what do we call it. The space was always in there. I think we just didn't have, it wasn't named a community center or a gymnasium because it's not a full-size gymnasium like we had in the Hallmark Center. It's just a space that could be multi-use.
Okay. Well, I'm going to open up the floor right now for council. One other question before I do that. There will be public consultation for the public to have input on this as well? Is that in the work scale?
It is, yes. I think it was closer to November, Julie, that you were thinking. I remember rightly.
Yes, and again, it depends if you want us to go to the public with this, or we were thinking of going to the public once the design was a little bit more established with the direction we were going with. So it's gonna depend on how you guys want to proceed, but it was at the end of October that we would bring something to to the public's eyes. It's just we don't want to promise this whole big thing and we don't have the budget for for everything. So again, it is a conversation to start at this point.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so I'm going to open up the floor for comments from council, and we can come to a consensus on how we want to proceed for that public. Would it be appropriate if we had different scenarios? If there was a couple of options they could choose, or would that be too difficult to do, either Julie or Holly?
Maybe Julie, you can take that one.
Yes. So yeah, so anything is possible. It's just we're concerned. We were told that the budget is fixed to the amount that was provided to us. So we just don't want to promise a $10 million building when we can't deliver that with the public. So like I say, we can do different options. And again, question just out there, is it something that we are to remain in the budget that is on the table, or are we going for more funding at this point for this project? Like, what are we looking at?
My understanding from council is we were going with the budget of what we've already had. I'm going to let council chime in at this time.
Agreed.
Agreed, okay. John, I'm seeing John saying his head is nodding. Belinda and Drago, are you in agreed to stay within where we're at and work with that? Yes. Yeah, it's quite,
Potentially, oh, sorry.
it gets quite concerning when you look at the different budget amounts when, you know, the contingency of what we have, the money we have is at 900,000. Like we've got a contingency fund of $1 million. And when we go to the wish list of everything, that contingency goes to 2.1. It's almost the whole renovation. It's almost the whole addition. So it's quite costly. Go ahead, Gail, go ahead.
Just so you know, there are a couple of programs out there. Stacy would have to speak to them. I'm not familiar with the requirements of the programs and the funding levels, but there is money for this type of thing from FCM and also from NOHFC that, again, it wouldn't be fully funded, I'm sure, and maybe that's not where council wants to go, but we have kind of scoped that out a bit.
What would be the timelines on getting answers to that? Do we have?
Well, Stacy can probably speak to that.
Okay.
Stacy, if you could.
So both the NOHFC and the FCM, they don't have deadlines, so they're ongoing deadlines. So the FCM is more of when it comes to the energy portion or upgrade or making the building more sustainable. So potentially there's that grant, and that can be anywhere up to 5 million, depending. I mean, it's a 5-step process. I think we would skip the first section because that's the planning and the studies, and we're doing those right now. The NOHFC, we were in discussion with them last year about the raising costs because of COVID, and they were saying that we potentially could apply for maybe some of the contingency and some of the inflation.
And that, dealing with NOHFC, that's going to be about what, 6 to 8 months?
Yeah, it depends when their board meetings are. So it can be anywhere from 30 to 45 days to 120 days. It depends on when their board meetings are for the approvals.
Okay, I do have a question about that. Is there a way that we could structure the renovation, the build and the renovations to the existing building and the new addition in a way that we have all that pre-planning done and we can take it out in chunks, but we approve what JL Richards is going to do for us with the initial budget? Did I make sense there? I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's just like we can't. I don't want to see it delayed. I want to see it moving forward because we're going to lose a year of work, and the renovation can, or the new addition can happen if we're still trying to go after funds to get the other work done.
Yes, we can always phase the project. So the project can be done on multiple phases. So we can set up the project in a way that phase number 1 would be the addition, phase number 2 would be the energy and stuff like that. So if you get more funds, we can just tack on to the project itself. Yes, that's doable. Same thing with, say, the addition. You don't have the full money to do the full addition. Well, we can start with the planning of maybe the phase 1 would be all the washroom and everything that you need for your building, and then having maybe your library too, and your fitness center, but not your community hall or something like that. Like, we can do in chunks, and as soon as you get more funding, then you can get that done as well. So we can always do all the plans and phase them into different projects.
What we would need to know, it would be the priorities within the addition. So would it be the fitness facility, the library, the seniors, or the flex space that would come first?
I think from council's perspective, and I'm going to put this out there, I believe it would be the library and the fitness center is priority. We have the fitness center is currently being housed in another portion of the arena, the curling club. So it's hindering our curling club, and that's been a big issue. And it needs its own space. I open up the floor right now to council. Please speak, council, and I'll address you.
This conference will now be recorded.
Per square foot, say 2.5 years, but what was the actual cost that time if we were building 2 years previous?
It would have been in the probably 400. It gone up massive, and that's without so the expense at the bottom that Holly put, the travel and the GC, those are flexing a lot right now. Just to give you a approximate, we did go out to tender with a project last year, and it did come in at, with those two amounts into the fee, at $950 a square foot. So your $650 right now, it's kind of on the, but we did add the 10% at the bottom, because those always vary from one contractor to another, right? Depending on where the location of them are. So, but probably 2 years ago, I would say probably a good $450 a square foot you could had your building.
Okay.
COVID is really hitting with the structural, the metal right now, and even because you guys are a little bit more remotely, it's going to be a little bit more costly. Yeah.
I find for the Zamboni garage, it's almost like Taj Mahal at 500 square feet. It's a garage, 325,000. There has to be some cuts there. I mean, let's have a simple 4 walls, plumbing, heating. Like this is massive cost. I mean, I saw many Zamboni rooms in my lifetime. This is, I think, in my opinion, the high end of a Zamboni garage. Would you agree?
I'll speak to that. I just had a storage garage just about 2 hours north of Timmins come in at $750,000. That was bare bones. It was substantially larger than what we were dealing with, but not by that much. So we're dealing with a very different animal with COVID right now.
Okay, and
down when you guys want to build, or when we're going out to tender, and then you get savings, but it's hard for us to put a price together, and just we don't want to come too low, and then you have the surprise at tender that you cannot manage the work as well, right? So we're trying to be conservative with our pricing of this project.
Yeah, the other one that really also stood out more than anything else was a seating replacement, almost $500,000. I mean, we could go to materials is not as expensive, smaller type of seating. I mean, that's a large $400,000. That's a big chunk as well.
We would have to look at options. That was the allowance I gave based off of a previous job that was done. But it would depend what you're looking for. Right now, we haven't gone quite into design and exactly what you would need. So that one would be at the higher end, but it would really depend what you're looking for.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Stefanik. And currently, right now, if I'm correct, when you had done the presentation, you were talking about getting the square footage of the new addition, about 4,000 square feet. That would be about the manageable spot, right? So we're looking at the library and the fitness center, and then with this corridor that's 700 feet, would that still be needed? Like I don't know what the actual layout looks like, so.
I would recommend to leave the corridor, because if you were to add on the rest of the spaces that you're looking at having, say you just do the fitness in the library right now and you add on the seniors and that flex space later, it would make things a lot easier to have that corridor to do that, to connect those spaces. So I would recommend keep the corridor if you proceed with the library and fitness, because you'd also need that corridor for all those ancillary spaces, washroom, shared washrooms and things like that.
Okay, so that puts us at 4,800 square feet then, with those two areas and the corridor.
We would have to lay it out. This was just a placeholder to get an idea of, like, we can try and fit it into this size and let you know what gets cut and what doesn't get cut, but we'd need to know the big ticket items of what you want to save.
Okay, so I put that on to council. Sorry, go ahead. Holly, did you?
And again, if the fitness center, like Holly and I said, when we did the measurement of the one that's in the curling club right now, we put that measurement into the space that was asked for in the proposal, and it's almost double the size. Like, can we reduce a little bit the fitness center, or do you guys need absolutely that whole space? That's the other thing that would be a cost, like a saving a little bit.
Well, I'm not sure. So you're saying currently, so our current fitness center, just to get the clarity on this, is at 1,300 square feet, and we doubled it in the new build? Is that what
I think it's actually, it's almost, the new one would be almost 3 times the size of the space you guys are using right now.
Okay, so there is some room there to juggle with, because we can definitely I don't want to be.
Something?
Yeah, go ahead, Councillor Kistemaker Peter. Go ahead.
Through you, Madam Mayor, can anybody give me the answer? How big is the existing library that we have right now for square footage?
Not sure. Gail, do you have?
Because I'm just curious that if we can kind of come to a compromise, and whether we build a shell or whatever, or make it so that we can put the addition on in the future as future funding comes available. But I know financially we're not in we can't build a $10 or $12 million building right now with less than half of that money. Maybe make some small accommodations on the gymnasium and the library, and then the fitness facility and the library and the senior center, as well as the gymnasium / community hall. Kind of put that off for time being, because I think we're all in agreement that the fitness center has to be built, and we do need a new library. Somebody did let me know that the biggest issue with the library is accessibility for the elders and for the disabled. So we have to go ahead with that. But do we need, at today's prices, do we need the full 1,500 feet? And if we don't, maybe we can make some modifications. And if we do, well, we have to go with it.
Okay, Peter, there's a few questions that I would like to see our library at some point be accredited. I'm assuming that the 1,500 feet fits that from back in the day. Is Drago saying yes? Gail, go ahead.
I was just going to ask Dwayne or Stacy if they remember what the current square footages are at the fitness center and the library, because I don't have that right off the top of my head.
Yeah, Gil, I can't remember. I've measured it a few times, but I cannot remember for the life of me right now.
Okay, well, we can find that.
So So the library right now is at 450 square feet.
Yeah, yeah.
The with the accreditation, I don't know if it has to be actually that big, and that number is the wish list for the library. They know that potentially it could be smaller than that, and they could definitely work within smaller. I mean, that's their top wish list. And I think Holly said that our current fitness facility is 1/3 the square footage of the new one.
Yeah, here's the number. It's 1,090 square feet.
So the proposed is double,
Over
just
double.
over double.
Yeah.
Over double. Yeah.
Well, as the past library board chair and representative on the library board, and I want to speak, I heavily support us not decreasing that amount. Through this past 12 years, they have done amazing things with our library. They have increased programming. They're a hub to our community. They are going to draw people up to this new facility at a rate that I don't even think we're ready to, like, I don't even think we're seeing the full fruition of what's going to happen once that library is up there. So I would like to see that full space utilized. I think there is some room in the fitness facility. And I'm wondering with the senior center, with that, is there other ways that we can incorporate that space along with the library? Like, is there a space within the library? Is there rooms that could be closed off? I know we had done a music room. Like, are we able to utilize space to share space? And I'm not so worried, council, about the gymnasium and the community hall, because we have 2 other gymnasiums in our community, and currently fitness programs happen at those places. And we do have another facility for a wedding within our community. So I guess my question is 2 questions. Can the seniors be included within the library space? Is there any way that we can do a shared space there within that wish list of the library? I'm not sure exactly what that looks like. Go ahead, Councilor Belinda.
When you're talking about shared space, it's going to be how you set it up. So that's going to make the difference.
Yes, I was just wondering if the library wish list of their spaces, because I know I think it was in the annual report, or when we were talking about this at one other time, there was something to do with music, a music space, and maybe a room that closes off. I'm not sure. Go ahead, Stacy.
So within the within the library, we had actually 3 other designated rooms in there. So we had a cultural space, a music room, and a STEM room. So there is potential within that 1,500 square feet to use some of that space for a senior space.
Okay. And was the 800 square feet for the senior space, that was that their full wish list too? Where did we get that space allocation from?
That's actually big. So their old space was the current council chambers in the basement.
Yeah.
So that's approximately, well, the space in the basement is about 650 square feet. So that potentially could be reduced as well.
Okay. And then the kitchen, that would be the kitchen, the residential kitchen would go in with the senior space. Is that what that kitchen is there for, or is it a shared kitchen?
That
Yes,
would be
it
a
was for
shared
the.
So the discussion was to have
Okay, just a second. I'll go to Julie.
Go ahead, Julie.
So the shared kitchen was for the senior center, and we would place it so that the hall could have access to. So if you were renting the hall for a big something, then you could have access on both sides.
Okay, so
But
there.
if it's not needed, then that's something that can probably be removed from the list. That's not a problem.
Well, no, the current senior space that they've not been able to use since 2010 does have a kitchen in it. Would it save measures though? There would be some cost savings then if it's not a dual purpose kitchen, it's just in one area, or we can make it dual purpose for the library, say?
Yeah, we were just adding a door, so it's just the kitchen layout that was different, so we could add a door, but yes, we can merge the library with the senior center for that kitchen, yes.
Okay. Okay, so if we're looking at 4,500 square feet and we can minimize some of the fitness and minimize some of the senior space and have a shared kitchen between the seniors and the library, I think that'd be a pretty amazing space up there. Yeah, but I leave it to your great intelligence to figure out how to do that. 100 square feet. Holly's got a big smile now.
No, you gave me a fun job. I could see, I think we can incorporate, so from my understanding, we're going to incorporate the seniors into the library. Would it be more of a kitchenette within that space that serves both of them and not a full kitchen?
Well, this is my thinking, council. I put it out to you to jump in, raise your hand and I'll come to you. My thinking is that if there is any space within the library that could be dual purpose, and then it could be either opened up to that senior space, because what's going to happen is we don't want 1,000 square feet sitting there not being used, maybe only in the evening or what have you. And if it's just into scheduling, I think in our small community of 1,000 people, we're good at scheduling. Like we do it now, like the amount of work that's behind the scenes and what happens at our library now is pretty impressive. And the seniors have been doing their own thing all across the community and holding lunches and that sort of thing. So I think there could be some work together. I see Drago's mic is unmuted. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Councilor.
thank you, through your mayor. Number one, I agree with the library to stay status quo at 1,500 square feet. Number two, I think there should be a multi-purpose room in the library that could be utilized both by seniors and any other group that's available. But seniors will get the first priority, unequivocally 100%. But have it multi-use, so as the mayor says, let's not use it twice a month and it sits there with the lights off. We want a full use of the facility, and I think that's the best bang for a buck. Number three, we seriously look at the fitness facility because we have to reduce the size because we don't get 40 or 50 people up there training at any one time. I mean, we reduce in their area, say accommodates approximately, say, between 14 and 16 people. We could make that work, in my opinion. I mean, there'll be high and lows, but those are the three areas I'll be looking at personally. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your comments, Councillor Stefanik. I really like the way Councillor Stefanik put that, is maybe that senior space is the auxiliary room, so maybe the library actually gets more space, but there's a senior space included, so that room can be used for different things that happen in the library. There could be, but I totally agree with Councillor Stefanik that it would be first priority to the seniors.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead, Councillor Kissmaker Peter.
Yeah, so like I think well, I haven't heard everybody, but it seems like it's a common we have a consensus on the gymnasium at 1,400 square feet, 800 square feet for the senior. We keep the library at 1,500 so we can get rid of that's about a $1.4 million savings. And then the fitness facility, 2,600 square feet, I think would be great. But reality speaking, even if we went 25% bigger, we can knock 1,000 square feet off it and still be 25% larger than what we have now. And that'll give us about a $2.3 to $2.4 million, or pardon me, not that much. It'll knock another $500,000 off or whatever. So that adds up to considerable funds right now.
Yes.
And potentially, if we could have it so that Julie and Holly can have it in, if there is some funding that comes in at the 11th hour, maybe we can incorporate and get some more things on the wish list, like increase the fitness facility and like basically what we're looking at now if a miracle happens between now and the build.
Yes, well, still of the mindset that so with the adjustments made to the direction we're giving Holly and Julie now to construct this 4,500 square foot, but to have that corridor with those other additions, so that the behind the scenes work is done, so that we have the plans in place to move forward. And even with the renovations within the arena itself, I think we may have the momentum once this is built to find more funds to go after, or even with the FCM or the NOHFC. But we need to know what it looks like in the end. And if we bring that to the public, that there's, phase 1 is definitely going to happen. This is going to happen. And then we have phase 2 and phase, as the price is going up, we have to still find more funding. Does that make sense to council? I see John saying yes. Are you in agreement with that, Peter?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Councillor Kistemaker Belinda? Okay. And my understanding, Julie and Holly, we'd be able to do that? Have the planning done for the 3 or 4 phase approach, and then stick to our phase 1 is within our budget with this renovation of a library fitness facility and some sort of senior space that's combined in our library, like a dual
Yes.
multi-purpose space, okay?
Yeah, and from
Yeah.
my understanding, I think the fitness, I'll try and work out what the actual square footage will be to make it work. The corridor and these 2 items, we may be able to adjust slightly based off of the size of the buildings. So I think I can get us a bit of wiggle room, get us down to where we'd like to be.
Okay.
For the design work, we would just be doing the design of this space, correct? We wouldn't be doing the next phase yet.
Well, we would like to have some design so that we know we can add on to it, like however this is created, that next space be added on.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hope. That would be my hope. Yeah, because we don't want to go through this process again, and then we have the design there ready, because there are upgrades that we would like to see, like the renovation in our arena as well. And the other thing I did want to mention about the washrooms and that is our ball field going up there as well, and we're looking at having this facility run 365 days a year, so we don't really necessarily want to minimize too many washrooms either.
Okay.
We want that space, like we really want to get that space used all the time, like to really become the hub of a community.
Okay, so I won't reduce here then. But I think I can take off a bit here, and I'll play around with this number. I won't touch the 1,500 square feet for the library though. And I'll see where I can get us to.
Okay, because you're at,
Yeah, this, I don't know how much I can reduce. I'd have to lay it out.
okay, well, with what you have right now, because the number was at 4,500 you were working at trying to get to.
Yeah.
So just with the 800, the 1,500 down to 1,600 and 700, we're at 4,600, right?
Here.
I didn't have.
We're at 57 right now.
700.
So
okay.
I'll have to lay it out and see where I can get us, Tetris our way to a smaller number.
Oh, I'm getting 4,600.
Right.
Okay, 800 if we stick to the 800 for the seniors. Oh, I'm not including this bottom number, all of this other space. So that includes that bottom space there. The 4,500 includes those movables, right? The dark blues.
I'm getting, I don't know, my Excel says 57.
Yes, I'm just adding up the 1,500, the 20, the 1,600, the 700, and the 800.
Already have 800. Oh,
In your space.
no, there's all of these guys, right?
Yeah. So you figure you can play around with it a bit, Holly, and see if we can bring that number down?
Yeah, I'll get us as close as we can without impacting functionality or anything. And does that work for you guys? If we are a bit over, is that a deal breaker, or are we set on 4,500?
I think the deal breaker is we got to stay within our budget.
Okay, no, that
So-
works.
So another, just a question before we move on, and is, so the existing washrooms then that are in the facility, they would stay there, and then we'll have additional washrooms down in this end of the facility.
Yeah, and the new washrooms, because we're adding occupancy to the building, we need those additional washrooms to serve the new spaces. So how I was trying to explain earlier is that our calculations right now have a total number of washrooms for those spaces, but that was including the community center and the seniors. So if we were to do our calculations again, we would require less washrooms for just these two spaces. But if you did an addition later, you would need to add more washrooms.
Okay, but we could minimize some of that storage space if we don't have the museum and the senior center.
Yes, so yeah, we could cut that.
Okay, well, council, I put it out to you. Do you have any other direction that you'd like to give the consultants on this?
This conference will now be recorded.
Is there any further information you need, Holly or Julie?
Oh, it looks like Julie's mic isn't working. Julie, you can message me if you have any questions. I think everyone can see it in the
Oh,
corner.
I can talk now. So.
Sorry, I froze again. Holly, did we, I see it says there's showers in the washrooms, but did we not suggest taking those out when we met? I can't remember. Or does council want to keep them? I don't know if it's necessary or not. There are showers in the arena side. Anyway, for some discussion.
Maybe I wasn't there for that discussion. I don't know, Julie.
Well, maybe I'm dreaming.
It's okay. It's okay. It's late.
Well, I'm thinking they were there for the fitness facility for people if they want to. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll leave you with the numbers, and those are areas that you could take out. We don't have showers now. I don't think we necessarily need showers. I'm not sure that would be a legality portion. So it's I do like having the universal washroom with.
Yeah, we can't remove that. That is required.
And that would be accessible as well, right?
Yeah, so okay, I'll look at reducing here and here then. I know it's not ideal if you do want to do your another addition afterwards, but if we really need to get it down to a clear cut 4,500, then I'll see what I can do there.
Okay. Okay, council, is there any further comments from council? And Gail, Julie, or Holly, do you need any further information from us tonight?
I think I'm okay, Julie.
Enough direction. Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming tonight and thanking you for all the work that you've put in already behind the scenes. And Gail has spoken highly of you both in conversations with myself when we've talked about this project. It's a huge project for our community, so I'm thinking we are going to get big turnout at the consultation, and And I would like to see that phased approach so that we can further go after further funding to ensure that we can upgrade this entire facility at some point and get it on a good plan. So it's all just brand new at one point. But thank you so much for coming tonight, Julie and Holly.
Thank you. Oh, one last question. I'm sorry.
No.
So we're proceeding with just the addition and the phased secondary addition, or are we also doing the renovation on our scope of work for design?
In the original hire, you were hired, that included the whole scope of design, right? So that's already included in the budget?
So we'll include all of it then. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, let's go with it all. That's what you've been hired to do. And then that way we have the background work to go after that, because we know in our community, we're going to hear about it at consultation, like, and I'm for it too. We do want to see the upgrades inside of our existing arena as well come to fruition as well, but we need this addition done. So this is a good step. And if we have all that document done now, it's going to prepare us for the future.
Perfect. Okay. I just wanted to double check.
Okay, great. No, that's great. And you have contact with Gail there if you need anything further. And we look forward to the public meeting.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, have a great night. Okay, council. And we're moving on. So as I said, point 2 is moved to another meeting. So we're on to our manager's reports. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, second by Councillor John Paroff. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne is hereby acknowledge receipt of the manager's reports provided at the regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. And the first report is the CAO clerk report. And I give the floor to Gail if you have any comments that you'd like or additions to your report or to Lean's report.
Sure, just a couple, just about the tender award. We're just needing some more time to go over the proposals with a little bit more scrutiny to make sure that we're choosing the right thing. And all of the proponents have indicated that it's a 4 to 6 month wait for the fuel tanks anyways. So 2 weeks is not really going to make much difference in the project. So I appreciate that extra time. And just to note that I was hoping to bring the vaccination policy tonight to the table just for council discussion and review, but I was unable to get any responses. I've pulled pulled both health units to see if they could help out with how many, like what communities in their regions are doing. So Porcupine Health Unit and Algoma Public Health, and I haven't heard back from them. And I've also put out a member request through one of my associations, and that usually garners quite a bit of response, but I haven't received anything yet. So I'm hoping to have some data just so that, you know, everyone's aware of what everybody else is kind of doing in the sector. And just one other thing is if you, and maybe you have already, but if you haven't responded to Eileen about council training, I ask that you do that so that she can finalize her plans for that. And that's it. I can try and take some questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Gail. I open the floor for questions for Gail from council. Stefanik, go ahead.
Yeah, through Mayor. On your volunteering again, you did some research, Gail, I see. The interesting part is, if you recall, the playground at the HESS was 99% volunteers. I don't know how they pulled that off. And they did not use any power equipment, but they did a lot of heavy lifting and mixing about concrete. I'm not sure if that Board of Education has a special coverage. I mean, when we talk about volunteers, I remember Councilor Peter Kistemaker said, you know, if he helped with the installing the fence, not to use any equipment, but actually to install the piping to assist the contractor to make it less costly. I mean, the Board of Education did it, so I just wonder how they were able to do that, Gail. And I did see many volunteers. Number 2 item, I agree with the Arena plant facility, refrigeration plant, it's another 10 years lifespan. I would not, I mean, the cost is going to be prohibitive, be $200,000 plus. If the lifespan is still another 10 years, I would agree with continue status quo. I did understand item number 2, the heat recovery terrain ice plant to be used. Okay, I got that. Sorry. And was this suggestion made that we use one refrigeration plant for both the arena and the curling? Is that what I'm reading correctly, Gail?
You know what? I was not at that meeting, so
Okay.
Dwayne, would you be able to speak to that?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it was one of the considerations to put both plants onto one system, an outdoor system. It's one of the considerations for cost control.
Okay, thank you. That is all. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Daryl. Any other further questions or comments for Gail's report from council? John has none.
I'm okay.
You're good. Okay, thank you, Peter. Okay, I do have a couple questions, Gail. I thank you for sending me the Northeast Superior Mayors Group recording. I have not yet been able to watch it. I do have a question about it though. Who is doing the study, and is the Mayors Group, or is it going for a letter into a letter support? It was just a little unclear to me of what the going on there.
So it was the I can't remember the name of the group, but I asked who was in that group that they were speaking about, and it's the doctors group that's in that covers Wawa, Duberville, and White River.
Okay.
And because it was called the Northern something or other, so I thought maybe it was a larger thing, but it's actually just the organization that works out of Lady Dunn in Wawa.
Okay.
So really, it was kind of a more geared to what their problems were with retention and loss of funding and things like that. But it kind of applies to everybody. So I think she is going to, and I don't remember the woman's name, I apologize, but she's going to draft a letter that's to come from the group, but not just for their group.
Okay, and it'll encompass everyone.
It should be, well, that was my understanding.
Okay, that sounds good.
Well, that probably wasn't clear to everybody, but there was the woman that is heading up this committee at the Lady Dunn Hospital in Wawa is, I guess, lobbying the government because they're losing money for locum doctors. They're cutting some of their funding. So I had asked, is the funding, does everyone get the same formula for funding, or do you have to apply and make your case? And there wasn't really a clear answer on that because I wanted to know if everybody's funding was being cut. And again, I didn't really get a clear answer on that. So I think it doesn't hurt to lobby for more funds, but I think we need to learn more about it. And maybe there were only a couple of mayors at that group, or sorry, at that meeting as well. So there wasn't a lot of back and forth in a sense. So I think it deserves more investigation, but basically they're getting their funding cut. They lost funding for, I forget, the funding covers, I think for 6 doctors, I think the funding covers 40 days or something like that, works out to 40 days. And they've cut so that it only covers 32 days, or I don't remember the numbers, but it's a substantial cut. So they basically have lost funding to run their operations, and the funding that they cut, the doctors then are expected to take that out of their pay for overhead for office expenditures and things like that as well. So it's not just that they're cutting locum funding, it's got like more indirect effects on other things as well. So you might understand it better when you actually listen to the conversation and the presentation, without listening to it again. That's kind of the best I can do off the top.
Okay, no, thank you for that clarification. Down further, where we're looking at creating a camera bylaw and policy.
Mhm.
for the end of the year. I was wondering if we could get when we're doing bylaws of this nature and into the future, if we could get them before the final copy so that there's input and it's not drastic changes for you and the staff, and that we
Yep.
council has more of an opportunity to give input.
Sure.
Okay. And the last thing is for the Christmas tree lighting, am I saying a speech or opening ceremonies for that night? I'm just trying to ensure.
Well, that would be lovely.
Okay, I just want to. Well, we'll see who our deputy mayor is too, because I don't know where I'm going to be on what job or what have you.
Okay.
Okay, any other further questions? Those are all my questions for this evening. Belinda, did you have anything? No? Okay, then we'll move on. Thank you, Gail. Okay, client service manager, treasurer's staff report, talking about some conferences. Melissa, did you want to add to your, is Melissa here tonight?
Oh,
Sorry.
no, she's home ill.
Okay, sorry about that. Is there any questions or comments on this report in through Gail? Okay, there being none, we'll move on. Public Works Manager's report. Dwayne, would you like to speak to your report before I open up for question or comment?
Sure. Just want an update on give you an update on the airport. We did change a card last week on the basically the control box. The card was fried, but we also found a contactor was fried. As I was walking into the council meeting here, I just got a text saying that it should arrive by tonight, later. So hopefully tomorrow morning, and contact the electrician to get it installed. Hopefully get our happy lights back up. Yeah, and so this must be covered under some sort of insurance. This is all brand new equipment. We're going to try for sure. It was electrical short for sure. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Any other updates, Dwayne? No, that's it for now. Okay. Thank you. Questions or comment for Dwayne and his report? Councillor Smith, go ahead.
Yeah, through Mayor to Dwayne, just to compliment Mr. Furman, did an excellent job on the first house of removal and left the land in excellent state, ready to be sold. I mean, we're ready now. That's let's put the property for sale because that's a nice property now. And I thank your staff, Dwayne.
I'm very happy with it, what we did there.
Which property is the second location?
The first one over Tank Hill next to the bottom. I don't know if I can give the person who used to own it, but there was an abandoned house, the pickup truck.
White House when you come down the hill? Okay. That's the next one. Okay, great.
It's actually on the ground and half hauled away already.
Oh, it is. There you go. That's how often I go down there. I haven't seen the total finish of the other one yet, so I'll take a drive on Thursday. Okay, any other further questions or comments? I just had one about the current water leaks. We have the scheduled repair for the October 13th. Why is it pushed so far away? Was contractors, or were we back into a locates issue?
No, not a locates issue. It's just trying to coordinate it with all the elements. So the sucker truck, ourselves, our employees being off, aqua guys being away. So just we coordinated it. That's the best date to do it.
Okay, great. It's just we have an locates meeting coming up on Thursday, so I just wanted to see if it had anything to do with that.
No, they're much better.
Much better? They're getting much better? Okay, yes. Well, we want excellent eventually. Okay, any other further questions or comments, or we'll move on? I'm not seeing anything, Dwayne. Thank you so much, and we'll probably speak to you again later. Okay, Economic Development Officer, Stacey, do you have any comments or additions to your report?
No, I don't have any additions, but I'll take questions if anyone has any.
Okay, I open up the floor for questions or comment. I do have one request of your report, Stacey, because it's very thorough, but I couldn't distinguish what was from the last report to the new report. And I had to put both your reports beside each other. And it took me a little while, so I'm not sure how we can mitigate that to see the newest information. If,
Yeah, I'll
leave
change
that
that.
in your- Okay. I see the Pavilion Park's getting done this week. That's pretty exciting.
It is very exciting.
Exciting to have some of that stuff finished. Oh, and so I see that you did make contact with the Livable Cities pilot program. Did you want to speak
So
to
they
that
actually-
council for a bit to let them know exactly what that is?
Okay, so the livable cities, we've had discussions about it before, and those are the sensors that go on top of our current LEDs. So Dwayne and I actually had a meeting with them the other day, and we actually got a proposal. I actually just seen it before the council meeting to go into their pilot project. So they gave us some numbers and sent out an MOU for us to review. And they're excited to work with us on that. So don't quote me on this because I'm a little tired, but I think we have 2 cameras, 2 speed sensors, and a noise sensor in the pilot. Dwayne, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So there's the 5 pieces. So the cameras are something that's just new. So they're just coming online. So they're actually not available yet. They should be available about November. But if we decided to enter into an agreement with them to enter the pilot program, we could get the first 3 sensors right away. So it's pretty exciting. So I'm pretty sure council will see that on the next council meeting.
Okay, that's awesome. And all of this came about from your connection made at AMO at their trade show booth?
So we actually seen them twice. So I've actually met both presentations. So Dwayne, Belinda, and I met them at FCM.
Okay.
And we had a really good conversation with them. And then the pilot came after. So when we went to AMO, we had another conversation with them, and the pilot had just come about. So we kind of put our name on the list there at AMO and made the connection. And as soon as we came back, we set up a meeting as soon as they could have it with us. So they're actually very excited. I think they've met Mayor Fort, Councillor Kistemaker, and Councillor Stefanik. So they already know 2/3 of council. So they're actually pretty excited to work with Hornepayne.
Okay, I have to highlight that for our community and all of the staff that do go out and reach out and network. Sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, but this is another pilot project that could be really successful in our community. We did the other one was the waste diversion project with the food cycler program, which was also came about through Gail and I believe Stacy initially making contact and us making further contact. So that's it's exciting stuff for our community when we get out there. So thank you for that. Any other further comments or questions from council? Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Yeah, through Mayor, I have to ask. I mean, I just have to. The groundbreaking for the Motel 6, what's the update, please? To Stacy or Gail?
Actually, I don't have any further information on that right now. I'm not sure if Gail does. I have the same information that council has, so Gail might have something further.
The last information I have is from the media release, which was a week or so ago. I can reach out tomorrow to Ben and see what's happening. And I can send you an email if you like.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no further questions or comments for Stacy, we can move on then. I don't see any. Stacy, thank you for your report. Okay. We'll put, if we can put the motion to accept the manager's report to a vote, those in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried and unopposed. Okay, moving on to item number 10, correspondence action items. And I'll invite our Public Works Manager back to discuss item 10.1. Did you want to speak to the report or the letter or anything first, Dwayne?
I think I covered it pretty good, but I'll take any questions.
Okay. I open up the floor for questions or discussion. Councillor Giroff, go ahead.
Yeah, I see, Dwayne, I see in your report, you have under options, further reduce speed limit from 60 down to 50. Is that for the whole length of the road?
The township only occupies 7 kilometers of the road, so it's from basically the side of Cree Lake to the township.
Okay,
That's the only part we can control.
okay. Is that really an effective way? Because if they're speeding, they're going to speed anyways. So if they're speeding at 60, they're going to be speeding more at 50.
More than likely.
That's my opinion, but I just wanted to put it out there.
Well, it could, just to have a discussion on that, it could further reduce the speed because you come into racing after that. If you're too high above that speed of 50 or whatever it is, like, because right now, if they're not doing the speed it currently is, and we need them doing that, like for safety, it's a huge fine. I think, I'm not exactly sure what all the parameters are, but it may hinder people from speeding heavily.
I don't know. I see, I drove that road a few times and I see people speeding anyways, doing 70, 80, even 90 on that road, which is ridiculous, mind you, but lowering the speed limit, I don't know. But anyways, I hope it works.
Well, that's just one option, right? With the photo radar, what were you thinking about that, Dwayne?
With photo radar, if it's allowed, where you can actually get ticketed right away.
Okay, but where, like, so, but they would know where that station is? So,
Exactly.
okay, so we can put it in we can put how cost effective is, we can put it in all curves. Councillor Kissmaker, Belinda, go ahead.
Somehow I have a hard problem with this. That road is the best condition it's ever been going forward, okay? And no matter what, I just replaced my windshield yesterday. I got one chip from the Highway 17. I got another chip from Becker Road. You're not going to get away from the chips, no matter what. It's the way we have our curves. It's everything. You're just not going to get away with it. And as for speeding, you did reduce the speed already. The problem is we never see the OPP on the road giving out tickets. If that happened a little bit more and at random times, we would see a difference. I cannot see changing any speed anymore. It's just not going to work. And I've been driving on that road forever, and the speeding is not the problem. The road is not the problem. It's the individuals, and it's not being monitored. And we've done everything safety-wise. We've done this. I think we have to look at this a different way.
Okay, so what do you suggest? I'm glad to hear, Belinda, that I don't drive the road that often, except when complaints come in, I take a ride out. But so in your opinion, it's in the best shape it has. I am amazed by the report at how much, I was thinking about how much costs are associated with the road when we're grading it twice a week and sometimes up to 5 times a week. That's taking away from all the other kilometers of road within our community that aren't getting the service they need. So I was impressed with the work that's being done for sure. So are you suggesting to reach out to the OPP and do increased?
I think they have to.
Yeah.
They have to be noticed. Even in front of my house, they haven't slowed down, and it's because we do not have the OPP sitting out there and stopping them, and making it known that they're there at random times, not just same times when they have a ride program. It's got to be random times. Those things have to happen in order to make a difference.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead, Councillor Kistemaker Peter.
I agree with Councillor Belinda. It's a no-brainer with the rock chips and that. I can definitely feel the pain on that because I've had it done to my vehicle. I drove truck over that road for almost 26 years. The point of it is, or the fact of the matter is going from 60 to 50 will, I really believe, just open the potential for serious violations for certain people because now you're in the street racing, and I don't think it's going to cure. The only thing that's going to slow people down is the actual enforcement of it. And if you were to reduce it down to 50 kilometers an hour, you're still got a combined speed of 100 kilometers an hour. A rock coming at you at 100 kilometers an hour is still going to chip your windshield. So it's not going to stop that. So if it's about, we got to call it for what it is. And I really believe it's about the safety of people using it. And if people are going at an excessive speed, the big thing that will stop that is eyes on the road by the police. And Belinda's right. You enforce it a little bit more, you'll get compliance.
Okay, so we want to definitely reach out then to our friends at the OPP. Another, we had talked about this at a past meeting about that electronic device that goes on a hydro pole or whatever that shows where your speed's at. Did we get any numbers on what those costs?
Yes, I have some pricing already. I'm not quite ready yet to bring it forward, but yeah, I have some pricing. 2 companies have answered me back already.
Okay, because we do want to minimize that speeding that's happening, well, right across the road, but we've had multiple complaints about that Leslie portion. And so that's going to be coming at an upcoming meeting, Dwayne?
Yeah, yes. I'd like to try to find a better price yet, so I'm still working on it.
Okay. And okay, so from this standpoint for staff, Gail and Dwayne, is there anything else you need from us right now? And I think we should keep this as an ongoing agenda item monthly to just give an update of where we're at, either in your report or what have you, so that the public knows we're not just, it's an ongoing concern for council. We all feel it. We want people to be safe. We want to support our mill. We want to support that road. We've looked at, we put it within our documents of planning. We've made it an industrial area. Like the foundational work's there to try and get more money for that road. And even at the Good Roads meeting, you'll be hearing more about this coming in December, talking about advocacy for municipalities that have these other roads that are very high in price to maintain for small and rural communities. So there is other work going on out there as well. Go ahead, Belinda.
We're going to hear about this a lot more, and it is the other issue that's coming up. They're putting sensors and all that in our windshields now with our new vehicles, and they're going to cost a lot more. So we're going to hear more and more about this all the time. It's not going to go away. And it is a gravel road. And even with pavement, you are going to get chips.
Councillor Stefanik, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. The enforcement has to be there. Not that they have to be every day. If you listen to the Northeastern Ontario, the OPP has blitzes in certain areas, maybe through Metais Valcote, sometimes through Kapuskasey, and they promote that. So it's a large swath of land that they promote. So it has to be a blitz, whatever they decide, whatever they have staff power to do it, but it has to be concentrated. Both ends of the highway, both ends, and nail people continuously. Would it be a week, 2 weeks? And I agree with Belinda. It has to be done. Otherwise, we'll never be end of this.
Okay, so from the options then, we're not doing option number 1. There's consensus on that, I believe, from council. We'll just leave we've already reduced the speed limit twice on that road. It's currently at 60 kilometers an hour. Council is satisfied with that. It's more about if everyone was doing 60 kilometers an hour, all of these other issues would be gone away. We're going to reach out for increased law enforcement. Implementing photo radar. Is this an option that council wants the staff to look into further? Or do we want to leave this now for now? Councillor Paroff, go ahead.
Well, I think it would be something to look into. I wouldn't get too overboard on it, but get some pricing and see what our options are there. Like, that can't hurt.
Some investigation work on it to see what the pricing would be. Okay.
Yeah.
Councillor Christemaker, Belinda, did you have a comment?
I agree with John. To look into it, okay, but I would rather see the OPP on the road.
Okay. And then paving Becker Road, that's a long-term plan, long-term strategy. I think we have other things that we have to go after first that are just as important, but when you think of our water infrastructure and that sort of thing and getting the roads done in our community, we need water every day. So we have to focus on those funding, and I'm not sure what else council at this time would like to do with that, with item number 4, that option. Is it within our asset management plan currently, Dwayne, to just maintain it as is, or is there an upgrade plan in that asset management plan?
They don't believe there's an upgrade plan at all in the asset management.
Okay.
Quite a bit of substructure work has to be done too before you really pave that road.
Okay,
Okay,
so we
okay,
have to attract more industry before there's going to be pavement on that road.
Exactly.
Councillor Kistemaker, do you have a comment? Go ahead.
I had talked about when this was brought up once upon a time to start a roads association or something to do with that road because of all the vendors on that road, such as CN, such as the cottagers, such as the Hornepayne Lumber, Hornepayne Power. And I still think that's a good avenue to get into, where everyone has a say. Everyone is, even with your data that you got 52 signatures. That could be part of that process to go after funding, to have a program put together and help us get more monies, maybe even establish that road as an industrial road where maybe you can get more monies for that road. I still think we should look into that.
I'm in agreement, solid agreement with you, Belinda. I'm not sure, Dwayne, on the steps to be able to get that committee going.
Yeah, I haven't had much time to look into it yet.
Okay, well, could we jot that down, Gail? Because our new current council that's going to come into place is going to do their strategic planning. And I do think that should be a goal of this incoming council. Sure that committee is up and running, even if we run it quarterly for the first few years, just so we get that data like what Belinda's talking about. If we're going to go after money, we have to have the metrics behind it to get the money. And we've learned that already. Okay, are you good with that, Belinda?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay, Councillor Stefanik, go ahead.
Yeah, just a final comment to the writer of the letter. We have to respond as council. I think we should be quoting Dwayne when he tells us how often he does the road and what he does to the road. So there's actually factual data out there to the ratepayers that things are being done. A lot of people are assuming nothing's being done, and I think that's unfair for public works staff. So like he makes comments how often he does it per week and what's done. I think that has to be related to the writer of that letter. I really do feel that. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Stefanik. I agree. And just a note on that, because the letter was addressed to me, will that letter go back out for me? We'll draft that, or are we going to do that from the administrative office?
It's up to you. I would think it would come from you since it was addressed to you, but it's up to you.
Nope, we'll do that. It'll come from me and we can respond. And if anyone that's gave a signature that signed, we can include that in the letter too, that they're welcome to have a copy of that letter. I'm not sure if we can decipher all the signatures, but if they wanted, that could be as well. Okay, any further comments on the discussion right now? Okay, there being none. So moving into the future, we're going to see this again. I'm hoping by some sort of update at a November meeting. And from there, we can look at it either monthly or even bi-monthly so that we continue on with this. Okay. Thank you, Dwayne. And thank you for all your work, staff. Okay, moving on to 10.2, we have a request for a proclamation. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Drago Stefanik, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Whereas years of research confirm the benefits of the high quality early learning and childcare for young children's intellectual, emotional, social, and physical development and later life outcomes. And whereas childcare promotes the well-being of children in response to the needs of families and the broader community by supporting the quality of life so that citizens can fully participate in and contribute to the economic and social life of their community. And whereas trained and knowledgeable registered early childhood educators and childcare staff are the key to quality in early learning and childcare programs. And whereas registered early childcare educators and childcare workers will be vital to the success of the Canada-wide early learning and childcare system. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby proclaim October 18th, 2022, the 22nd Annual Child Care Worker and Early Childhood Education Appreciation Day, Educator Appreciation Day, in Hornepayne in recognition of the education, dedication, and commitment of child care workers to children, their families, and the quality of life in the community. Any comment on that motion? There being none, I put it to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried. Moving on to 10.3, Infrastructure Canada. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker, second by Councillor
I'll second it.
Peter Kistemaker. Whereas the federal government has established the small project stream of the Natural Infrastructure Fund to help increase public access to nature, and whereas the access to nature has clear benefits for our well-being and helps us better understand the world around us, and whereas the Natural Infrastructure Fund will help build resilient, more inclusive communities while improving the health of the planet, and whereas some of the goals identified in the draft community improvement plan documents are in alignment with this funding program and with Council's strategic direction. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of Hornepayne does hereby authorize Gail Jeremy, CAO clerk, to submit an application for funding to the small project stream of the Natural Infrastructure Fund and does hereby commit $20,000 to the project. Be it further resolved that the required funds to be taken from the reserves as follows: $19,385 from Planning and Development Reserve and $615 from the money set aside for the municipal portion of grants. The deadline to apply was September 27th, 2022. Any further question or comment on the motion? There being none, I put that to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried. Okay, moving on to the Jays Care Foundation Field of Dreams. Gail, before I read the motion, would you like to speak to your report or add comment to it?
Just that I think this would be a really fantastic thing if we could get the funding. We're just going out to get various quotes for various components so that we can piece things out and hopefully get, get enough to do at least a minimum. And then we had talked, I think, at the last meeting briefly just about doing a public relations type thing, having a community picture up at the field, or I think Eileen had mentioned that, I don't know if that was in discussion just with me or if it was at the council meeting, but she had mentioned that she had spoken to one of the successful proponents and they had done videos, and that woman had suggested doing some sort of a video. So I haven't really had much time to think about that portion of it, but I think it would be easy enough for sure to get a group of people to come up to the back of the arena wearing their, Jays gear. And if they don't have that, you can have bats and gloves and all of that. And hopefully have lots of youth up there too, because they do, I think, look more to youth programming. So other than that, like if you have any other ideas or would like to help out with that or contribute to that, that would be great. We're always looking for more creative ideas.
Okay, great. And I see in your report, your recommendation is the township commit a minimum of 10,000. And did you have an envelope that you recommend taking that from?
Yes, I didn't put it in there, but in the resolution, but the grant, the municipal portion of grants.
Okay,
And again, it's not necessary, but I just think it shows a firm commitment, and we don't really have at this point any partners because we don't really have a running league and haven't had. So we can't even really, I mean, we can get letters of support from people, but it's different not having a league that we can kind of go to bat for. So I think
Okay.
it might go a long way.
okay. Is there other funding available still in our municipal portion of grants above the 10,000 if council wishes to do that? You're on mute, Gail.
There is, and I thought I had that written somewhere, which maybe I didn't do that, but I think it's somewhere around 55,000 or something like that. It's I'll just see if it's on my desk. Hang on one sec.
Okay. Just while Gail's finding that number, if I can get a mover and a seconder, we can get the motion started to read underway. So moved by Councillor Drago Stefanik, second by
I'll second it.
Councillor Peter Kistemaker. Whereas the Jays Care Foundation has established the Field of Dreams granting program, which provides funding to design, refurbish, and build safe spaces for children and youth to play baseball, develop life skills, and learn from positive role models. And whereas over the past 10 years, Jays Care has invested more than $15 million in 145 safe spaces across 10 provinces and 2 territories. And whereas now more than ever, it is vital for kids to have spaces to safely play, connect, and learn, and outdoor spaces such as baseball diamonds and other sport facilities can be classrooms for children and youth. And whereas kids should be proud of the places where they play while having the opportunity to learn life skills and increase socialization skills. Whereas the township, due to an investment opportunity that will greatly improve the overall health and sustainability of the community, must relocate the local baseball diamond to another area of town and no longer has a baseball field for youth and other members of the community to use. Therefore, be it resolved that the council, the corporation, the Township of Hornepayne does hereby authorize Gail Jeremy, CAO clerk, to submit an application for funding to the Field of Dreams program for the creation of the new baseball diamond for the community. Be it further resolved that the township try to garner some form of public support illustrating the great need and strong desire for this project in our community. Examples, letters of support, photos, videos, etc., to be submitted with the application. Be it finally resolved that council does hereby agree to contribute a certain dollar amount to the project, the funds to be taken from the municipal portion of grants, and the deadline to apply is October 31st, 2022. So Gail did give the recommendation of 10,000. There is dollars available ahead of that. We do have some other granting opportunities that we probably will be looking forward. Does council want to increase this amount at all? Did you find that number, Gail?
No, I couldn't find it off the top, but I know it's over 50,000.
Okay, and your recommendation to commit a minimum of 10,000, was there another number with like that was a minimum because of the grant money we had, or?
Well, we just have so much, yeah, it's just we have so much going on, and I know there's other projects that we're going to be looking at, and all these new funding envelopes keep coming up that were never there before. So I just wasn't sure how much you wanted to commit. Like we do have a lot committed for lots of projects already. And I mean, the money is there, but what else is coming in the future?
Okay, if council is in agreement, we'll submit with the 10,000 recommendation from staff. Okay. So I put that motion to a vote with the contribution of $10,000 to the project and the funds to be taken from the municipal portion of grants. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried, none opposed. Thank you, Gail, for your report. And I have no problem helping with video. It would have to be over the next couple of weeks and photos as well. Okay, item number 11 is the information only package. If I can get a motion moved by Councillor Maker, second by Councillor John Paroff. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the correspondence information only package to the agenda of the regular meeting of Council held on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. And is there any comments or questions on that package? I do realize, Gail, that I missed the addition because I'm going off my old agenda. Okay, I'm not seeing any comment on questions on that. So I put that to a vote. Those in favor to receive the receipt of package, and that's carried. Peter, are you in favor or opposed?
Yeah.
That's carried, none opposed. Okay, sorry about that, Gail. We just have to back up. That was my mistake. I'm off my paper agenda, which was the other one, and we need to go to 10 points. Was there a motion set with that, Gail, or was it information only? Sorry.
Yeah, there is, and I apologize for the lateness of that. I know nobody's gonna have had time to read it, but I only got this email about, well, I had a meeting at 3. I see it came in at 2:30, but I didn't get it till about 3:45 or so. And there's opportunity for public comment, but only until October 13th, and our next meeting's not till the 18th. So I did do up a resolution where council could either choose to provide feedback as a council, or an option to encourage council members to respond individually, or you don't have to do anything, but I didn't want to not put the opportunity on there.
Excuse me. Sorry, I'm just signing in and out of my agenda, just so it comes up. My 10.5 edition is not reading right on my agenda. Sorry about that. Oh, I can get it on, no.
You want me to read the resolution for you?
Yeah, could you read that out for us, please, Gail?
I just gotta go over to my desk. It's not reading right on mine either. It's too big.
Well, yeah, I can do it off the small one. Here we go. I can do that. Okay, let's, if we put this motion on the floor and we can discuss it after I read it. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Drago-Stefanik, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Whereas Council received notification dated October 4th, 2022 from the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO, that public comment is being accepted on the Strong Mayors Building Homes Act until October 13th, 2022. Whereas AMO has not taken an official position on the merits of the Strong Mayors Building Homes Act, but urges the government to carefully consider the powers related to hiring and firing the CAO and department heads, and urges the government to hold strong consultation with municipal, political, and professional organizations before extending the powers in the legislation to beyond the cities of Toronto and Ottawa. And whereas the township has received copies of several documents that are in opposition to this proposed legislation due to the concerns that it has the potential to erode the democratic process and blur the lines between government and administration, and these have been shared with council. Whereas AMO encourages members to review the regulatory proposals and provide feedback. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby, 1, provide the following feedback, ask each member of council to review the documentation and submit individual feedback. So in the sense of time tonight, I'm thinking council, we should just, it should be ask each member of council. There's quite a few documents there to Unless there's, if someone is abreast and they want to submit information right now, if they feel comfortable doing that. But my recommendation would be ask each council member to submit on their own. Councillor Stefanik, go
I have
ahead.
no problem with that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we've checked off, ask each council member of council to review the documentation and submit individual feedback. Okay, and I put that to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried. Okay, thank you for that addition to the agenda, Gail. Catching it because we would have missed it completely. Okay, moving on to item 12. Is anyone at this, I think the rest of our meeting should go fairly quickly. Are we okay to proceed or would anyone like a break at this time? Okay.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay, we're continuing on then. Item 12.1, if I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor John Paroff, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the minutes from the Hornepayne Public Library Board meetings held on the following dates: Wednesday, June 29th, 2022 regular meeting, Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022 special meeting. Any comment on those minutes? There being none, I put them to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried, none opposed. Conferences, 12.2, council committee updates. This is roundtable discussion from council and any updates that your committees are on. I'll start with John. Councillor Paroff.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't have much. The Hornepayne Housing Committee had a meeting last night. Still looking into different investing opportunities that would help housing in Hornepayne. It's a slow process and the building is going well. And the LCC meeting was canceled for tonight. So it'll be, I think it was rescheduled for next Wednesday, or the 18th, our next council meeting.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so, and that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, John. Councillor Drago Stefanik, any update?
Just a quick Porkman Health Unit meeting. We met actually in person, first time in 2 years and 8 months. It was really nice to see my colleagues, and we continue with our meetings, the same as the library board meetings are continued, and they're still virtual. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kistemaker Peter, any updates?
No, I got nothing to add at this time, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Kistemaker Belinda?
I have nothing to add.
Okay, thank you. From the mayor's perspective, we had a Hornepayne Community Hospital board meeting, and we were looking at doing some accreditation meetings the week of October 18th, and I'll be participating in that. We had good roads meetings, and it's looking really favorable. Good Roads will be hosting their conference in April of next year, so they are moving that. It was overwhelming response, and everyone enjoys the conference at that time. The keynote speaker was already chosen, and we have Advocacy Day slotted for the end of November, and we are advocating for some rural roads funding and support for small municipalities, rural municipalities. So that's going to be coming. So I'll give an update to council in our December meeting on that, where it's at. And I'm sure you'll see some advertising coming from Good Roads after the Advocacy Day, and that's scheduled for November the 22nd, I believe, and I'll be in Toronto for that. I did give an update just earlier from our minutes about the Northern Policy Institute and the upcoming conference in November, and that we are going to be presenting with the Rural Development Network and educating, so I was really glad to be reached out to do that. And this upcoming Thursday, we do have a meeting set with my MPP Michael Mantha for the Ontario One locates and the Ontario One call, and trying to resolve that issue and ensuring that our voice is heard, and that we don't have to have these long delays, especially what's happened this summer, the homeowners and just people getting displaced. It's just not, we have enough struggles as it is living in Northern Ontario. We don't have to add where we have to move out of our homes. That's just not right. And further that, we still have to set, Gail and I will be in conversations of setting the recruitment team meeting. That'll be coming because I would like to have that before I go away to the Northern Policy Institute so that I have other documentation from other stakeholders. I know that the hospital is fully on board. CEO Heather Jeremy Berube, she's willing to volunteer and give extra time to it as well. People were very excited at the hospital when I mentioned it at our meeting. I am looking forward to the upcoming arena public consultation, and hopefully we can get some advertising out for that. And I believe that's all that's coming up over the next few weeks that I can think of right now. And that's it. Go ahead, Gail.
Just to add, one more thing popped into my head for our report was we still need to do our tabletop exercise for this year for emergency management compliance. So I've contacted Jeff Edwards, who used to be our field officer, and he works for, I think, Blind River now, but he also has his own company, and he had redone our new emergency plan, and asked him to help out with that because we're quite swamped, and he's got lots of experience and he can probably direct a really good exercise. So he's agreed to help us out. And so I'll be meeting with him. I set a meeting for when Eileen gets back. So we'll meet with him and determine what's going to happen, and we'll see what kind of dates you're available there, and we'll see what we can work out.
Okay, great. And I do put that, I'm glad you brought that up, Gail. I put this out to the rest of council that it is imperative that council at some point take the emergency management training, because you always want to have more people that are have the skills and know how to maneuver the binder. I know Drago has had the training, so I put that out to both Councillor Kistamakers that to look at that training and see. And I'm wondering, so is that going to be something that's going to happen? We have to have it before the end of the year. So December then, are we looking at?
Well, I'm hoping to have it in November, but we'll have to see what your schedule's like as well.
Okay.
I don't really want to leave it to December if I don't have to, but.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good, Gail, and we can invite one other. So I do put it out there to council that someone else, even if a delegate goes in my place, if I'm unavailable, if it's while I'm out of town. Okay, we're moving on then. If there's no further questions or concerns from any committees or any questions for me. Okay, let's move on. So item number 13.1 is the Rural Ontario Municipal Associations Conference, which is coming up and open. And if I can get a mover and a seconder, and we can have a discussion on this. Moved by Councillor Karoff, second by Councillor Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby approve the expenditures to be incurred by the following to attend the 2023 Rural Ontario Municipal Association ROMA Annual General Meeting and Conference. ROMA 2023 breaking ground to be held from Sunday, January 22nd to Tuesday, January 24th, 2023 in Toronto, Ontario. And we have Eileen already on the list. And is anyone else from council want to go to that? And I do want to put it out before we have a discussion. Gail, what was the behind sending Eileen right away? Oh, I hope she's not frozen.
I got booted out and I'm just back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but your screen's frozen. But don't worry, we can see you on there.
I don't know. This is not a good night for me. Just because there's, from what I've understood, it's a really good conference. It'd probably be a big learning experience for her, and you know, good networking in a different setting than what she experienced before.
This conference will now be recorded.
I don't know if it's this council's decision to make or next council's, but there's enough of us here to talk about it that I'm just wondering, like, strategically placing the municipality next year, is attending that conference even vital for us when we don't know where we're taking the community? And do we even have delegations set up for that conference? So I put that discussion out there for council. And either way, like, it's just, we have to support this. She's going to be in a brand new role, and within 2 weeks of taking the reins, she's going to be absent. So I look to other professionals. Council, speak up.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, I think that's a valid point. I mean, maybe you could look at something in the month of February or March, but yeah, I agree in that respect. She'll be 100% at the charge of the ship, and it would be, I think it's a fair point, the mayor. I really do.
Okay.
This way, if something comes up in another major conference, say February, March, yeah, but I think right now, I accept your comments.
And your thoughts? Am I missing something too, Gail? What are your thoughts? You're in the role, like taking over a new position.
No, I think your points are valid as well. Yep.
Okay.
I think it might not be the best timing.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we want to send at council level though? Do we want to send someone to it? To Roma, like that? There's a good conference to go to, and I'm not sure. Did everybody on council get to participate in Roma? Drago, have you ever participated?
No, I have not, but I'm not interested this time. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, is there opportunity after we have our first meeting of council? Are we able to still get into the Roma once the new council's set in December? Or will it be too late then?
I would have to double check that. I can try and do that before the end of the meeting. Definitely the early bird would be done, but I'll try and look that up as you're going through.
Okay. Okay. What do we want to do with the motion that's on the floor then? What would be the best way to deal with it? Defeat it then, Gail? You're on mute.
I was just going to say, if need be, we could bring it back to the 18th meeting if, you know, if it's closed by November 15th or December 1st, whatever.
Why don't we bring it back to the 18th meeting? Because usually, not that I want to do Roma this year, I'd rather let someone else go, but I do have good roads meetings in January that run right around those, and we've always piggybacked the expenses.
Right.
But okay, we'll just defer it to the next meeting, council, and we'll have a discussion there. Because, and did you have a discussion with Eileen about this? Her thoughts on it?
Well, I did, but I initiated it. I just thought it would be a good experience, but I wasn't really thinking about the timing.
Okay.
So it wasn't something that she had asked for or anything like that. So.
Okay. If council is in favor, we'll defer it to the next meeting. And we can just find out about if any other councilors would like to go, Councillor Kistemaker, Belinda, or Peter. I don't think it's a bad opportunity for council to go. It's just, it's at this time. I don't necessarily think the CAO should go. Okay, so that's deferred. All in favor?
All right.
Okay. Okay, new 14 and other business is 14.1 underground infrastructure replacement and road rehabilitation project discussion regarding storm sewer system. Gail, did you want to speak to this, or do you want me to speak to it?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay, so this came about, council. I think there's a few issues here, but the one was at our town hall meeting. I don't know if you remember that there was a question asked about like sidewalks and storm sewer and that sort of thing happening for the Third Ave rehabilitation project. And Gail answered that no, that wasn't currently included. So Gail and I had background discussions, and now would be the time if we want to include that in the engineering, especially because I wasn't aware that it wasn't included. And I'm sure this is when we have to have further enlarged discussions about what to include with our roads. And my concern is we're going to put, we're going to touch Third Ave. And if we don't do it during that time, I don't see it getting done in our community for quite some time. Like that, we're going to live with ditches then. So, and my understanding is, and correct me, Gail, if I'm wrong, a certain amount of money has to be spent out of the allocated funds that we got. Work needs to be done this year. So he was doing the RFP, getting it all ready with consultants for this project, and doing that this year so that next year when it goes out, Eileen would have it and she would just have to release it at that time. Is that right, Gail? Did I get that proper?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're looking at doing is we could add that into the RFP or look at costing, investigate that somewhat. We do have some time, and maybe there'll be funds to go forward. Maybe some, because it would be new infrastructure for us. So if we could get some new infrastructure funds, and then I'm not sure if any of those FCM funds, would they fall under?
That I'm not sure if Stacy would know better than me on that one, but just want to remind you that the sanitary sewers are part of that. Well, they were submitted as part of the project, but they're ineligible costs. So as well, unless there's other funding, and as well as this would be in addition to what we're already getting funding for. So just to remind council of that. And Stacy, I'm not sure, are you aware of anything? I mean, FCM has so many programs, but are you aware of anything off the top?
No, I don't have anything right now. I've really been looking at the Community Buildings Fund, so I haven't really looked at water or sewer.
Yeah, and then where does that planning even fall in place, Gail? Like for roads planning like that, like I don't see every road in Hornepayne not having ditches, but like when you go into other communities like Hearst, certain main thoroughfares, those roads all have sidewalks and that. Then you go into the back neighborhoods, they don't necessarily, they look similar to our roads. So which plan, which plan does that fall under? Like if council wants to have a discussion about, okay, we want Third Ave to look this way, we want First Street, Front Street, like where do we plan for that?
I don't really know. I mean, I suppose you could put it in your asset management plan as a costed item. But I don't know about the timing, how you would do the timing on it, but you could put it in there, you know, as a plan. I mean, you could try budgeting for it over the long term type of thing. And then I would think that you're going to go with kind of your most trafficked streets, right? So I don't know if that partly goes into like a Main Street revitalization type thing, or I'm really not sure. I'll see if I can find out though.
Okay.
Like asset management for sure, but I'm not sure if there's another, because that's just figures and lengths, and it doesn't give you any detail, right?
Right.
I can find out though.
Okay, sounds good. Belinda, go ahead, Councillor Kistemaker.
Can't we ask someone from the municipality of Hearst how they went about that? And even with our construction crews like Villeneuve Construction be able to direct us on how they've seen it being done?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we could do good point, Belinda. That's something I didn't bring up. We actually have a meeting scheduled. We're going to Hearst. Eileen is meeting. We have the CAO of Hearst and the mayor. We're going on the 17th. Am I correct, Gail? And so we could actually add that to an agenda item and talk to their public works. I'm sure we Eve would, sorry, it's not Eve, it's Eric could probably set that up for us. Yeah, good call. Really good call. Yeah, so what I bring tonight, council, is that we have the opportunity, the RFP is being made. Do we want staff to do some investigation on what the cost, the increased cost would be to that, putting that infrastructure in place, doing it all, like having, however it is, what would be the best, like a sidewalk up one side, widen the road, what have you at that time, and getting some costing for us. Councillor Stefanik, go ahead.
Yeah, through Mayor, I agree 100%. Let's get it right the first time. And because you're right, that road won't be touched another 15, 20, 25 years from now. So let's get it right the first time and let's get it done aesthetically pleasing and it's functional for the citizens of our community. I agree with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stefanik. Councillor Kistebaker-Belinda.
I'm just glad you brought it up, and it's a plan. It can be part of a plan. It can be for the future, whatever, but we have a plan.
Yeah, like even if the bare minimum is to build it so that that's included to come later and we're not digging up the road. Like, I don't know how this engineering works, but there has to be phased, like what we just talked about with the arena, a phased approach. Like, let's make sure we do it right so that the road's not touched after. We maintain the top surface for quite a number of years. And then we either go in a phased approach or we look at getting it done all at once. Like I would just hate to see it get ripped up and not be done, or looking at trying to find money to do it all later. Okay, so Gail, do you need any more information for what you're doing now with the project to move forward, or?
No, I don't think so, no.
Okay. So from a timeline perspective, if we were going to go with a full sidewalk and the storm sewer with that project, I'm thinking we'd probably need some pricing in that by January. We need to be discussing that by January and then looking for other funding at that point, because the RFP is going to go out for construction next fall.
The engineering, this is the engineering RFP, and it will go out at the end of next year, beginning of 2024, and the construction documents will go out like for the next year, like so at the end of December 2024 or January 2025.
Okay, so we have 2 years then. If we get it in the engineering, we have 2 years to kind of find the funds we need, and then if they're in the plans, then we got a full year to go after that money too then.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So council, just the last call on that. You're on consensus. Let's go for the full gamut for 3rd Ave. Let's bring it up to 20, by the time it's done, 2025 standards.
Agreed.
Okay. Do you need any other further information, Gail?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, moving on. Bylaws, there's none. Motions, notice of motions, none. So we're at 17 adjournment. If I can move her in a seconder, please. Move by Councillor Belinda Kistebaker, second by Councillor John Peroff. Be it resolved that the bylaw number 1959 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at the regular meeting held on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022, be hereby read a first and second time, be considered read a third time, and finally passed. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that is carried, none opposed. And finally, our adjournment to end the meeting, moved by Councillor Drago Stefanik, second by Councillor Belinda Kistebaker. Be it resolved that council does hereby adjourn this regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022 at 8:17 p.m. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's carried. Have a great night, council. And we'll see you on the 18th or beforehand. And get those comments in by the 13th.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
So I'm heading off to work tomorrow, so I can